You guys will get this presentation at the end, so don't worry, you'll have this to look at yourself at any time. But we're going to go over our cameras for use in collaboration presentation, as well as audio, which most of you may not know we carry, and then very innovative product here, our VIP Stream 200. We'll be going over that, and our switching collaboration tools. So we have broadcast type switching platforms, the two at the top, and then we have presentation switchers you see in the middle here, and then our collaboration switching down at the bottom. All right, so we're going to dive into each one of these. So the first one up is we're going to look at the Collabora 8 4K. Now what this is, essentially a bring your own device type multi-view switcher, but it does provide local inputs as well. So you've got HDMI and USB-C local inputs, but I can also connect my iPhone or Android phone wirelessly direct to the Collabora. And you'll see these dongles. I can use up to 4 of these dongles to connect Windows or Mac laptops to the switcher. Now my multi-view capability will allow me anywhere from just one image to up to 8 sources simultaneously on the screen. So you have a great deal of flexibility of how many presenters you want to have data simultaneously on the screen. This is all controllable through our icon control system, as well as using our API to work with QSYS or Crestron, AMX, Extron, Control4, RTI, and many others. Okay, so those are the highlights. Again, we do mostly seamless switching products. This applies as well here. So we have instant switching in this product. Our next one, a little simpler product, our ECOH Plus. And this is just very simple 1080p product that allows you to extend wirelessly, called the ECOH Plus. You see the dongle, you plug it into any HDMI source, and that will stream wirelessly to the base receiver up to 20 meters. All right, switching over to cameras. We carry 3 cameras currently, our VIP Cam 10-10x-USB 2. So this is 10x optical zoom with 12x digital zoom. It is USB 2 output. So this camera is designed for use with soft codecs, examples being Zoom, Teams, Google Meet, GoToWebinar, GoToMeetings. So this is basically allowing you to have a much higher quality presentation than you might have with just the camera on your laptop. You can now set zones and frame what you want. You have presets on this camera. So I also have the ability to move the camera, say, from one presenter to another presenter, or maybe from a presenter to a product, that I might want to display. And that could be anything. And just as an example, one of our case studies on this product is a Taekwondo facility, ATA, if some of you are familiar with martial arts, and they use our VIP Cam 10 to stream their classes live to those who can't make it to the facility for whatever reason. So usually the instructor has a preset on his example moves, and then he has a preset on the classroom, so you can see those who are attending the class live in the dojo. You can watch that as well. Okay, so VIP Cam 10, purposed for soft codecs presentation, as I exampled, Zoom, Teams, Google Meet, GoToMeeting, and so on. All right, the VIP Cam 30, this has multiple outputs. This is 20x optical zoom with 12x digital zoom. In most cases, 20x digital zoom in many room sizes is going to be very sufficient. The digital zoom is settable, so you don't have to use 12x. You could use 2x, for example, which would give you 40x zoom capability. So you can basically govern and throttle the digital zoom. This might be desirable where you don't want to have so much digital zoom that it's used where, maybe the the picture doesn't look, as good as you would like it to. Digital zoom is going to reduce the quality of image, especially if you use the maximum amount. But as most of you probably know, even at 2x, that's really not noticeable at all. So to get a total 40x zoom capability, that's going to cover a significant number of applications, even deep presentation spaces or house of worship, where this has been a very popular camera choice. I'll also tell you that the pan tilt zoom mechanisms in these cameras are definitely professional grade. So you can do very, very fine, minute movements. So if you have a presenter who's moving around the stage and you want to follow them, it's very easy to do that in a pleasing quality output. That's also true for the quality of the optics and the chip. The picture is very high quality, and we have won a lot of scenarios going against some of the top camera names in pro video. So I would highly recommend you take a look at this camera. You can use our test drive program, which we'll talk about in a moment. But as you see, we've got many outputs here. We have HDMI output. We do have USB 2.0 output. So if you're looking for more zoom and higher quality optics and pan tilt zoom mechanisms, you could use this with Zoom and Microsoft Teams and GoToMeeting and all that. This will also serve that purpose as well. But you can also stream this camera's output directly. So we do offer RTSP and RTMP outputs. As hopefully many of you know, RTMP is a format available to YouTube Live. So you could stream this direct to a live YouTube channel. The remote control does provide complete access to all adjustments and parameters. This camera offers a slew of opportunities to dial in the picture, from auto color balancing to manual color balancing, gain adjustments, preset color temperatures, noise reduction. So it's really a very pro-designed system here. You also can access up to 200 presets from the remote control. It's very easy. I don't know if you can see the adjustments on this remote control, but I've got iris and focus, pan, tilt, zoom. So it's really very accessible just from the remote control. I can create presets from the remote, and I can call those from the remote. But you also have Visca and Pelco control protocols built in over RS-232 or LAN. So if you have a control system and maybe you already have other cameras and you want to add this to that system, it's very easy to do because we use the same control platform as every other major manufacturer in the market. And as those who know Visca, for example, you can create and call presets quite easily from any third-party controller. And you'll see our controller. We'll talk about that in a moment. And then there's the CAM100 NDI. You'll notice these look pretty much identical, but there are differences. The CAM100 NDI, same optics, same chip, but now we offer you 3G SDI outputs as well as NDI HX output. So that allows you to serve other markets and applications where 3G SDI and NDI HX are the requirements for those applications. But other than that, those are very similar in the rest of the features. So the controller, as I mentioned, you can use many different controllers that support Visca or Pelco. Our offering here is a 4D joystick that does pan, tilt, zoom, and focus, and it's movement sensitive. So if I make slight movements, my camera will make slight movements. If I make significant movements, my camera will make significant movements. So it's very sensitive and allows for, as I mentioned before, applications where you have to respond to who you're framing with your camera. Okay, so again, Visca Pelco, this thing is about the size of your hand, so the footprint alone is a great selling point for applications where there's not a lot of room. House of worship would be definitely one where that would occur. Okay, so we're going to move on to our Huddle Cam 400. So now this goes back to where you're using Zoom or Microsoft Teams or Google Meet and so on and so forth. This is a really nice all-in-one. And we'll just go over the overview, and then I'm going to tell you some of the advantages here. But this is a true 4K chip with 4K glass. And the composition of this product is the PTZ camera, the beamforming microphone array, and the speakers. Now, it does come with an optional extension microphone that you can add on. It's a puck microphone that can sit in the middle of the table with a audio mute unmute button with confirmation LED, so you know the state of your audio mute. That would be pretty important. So what's important here is, and obviously I'm describing auto tracking capabilities with the beamforming microphone, but what's different about our camera system versus a lot of similar products like this on the market is that our camera is on a true pan tilt mechanism, so it moves. Why is that better? Because most of the other products are using electronic pan and tilt, and in order for that to work, you cannot be using the entire image chip because you have to have somewhere to pan and tilt. So you're already having a reduction in the resolution of the image in order to achieve pan and tilt. So we, the pedigree of PureLink, we prefer to give you the highest quality image. So we went with a moving camera so you can instead retain the maximum amount of resolution possible. Now, that doesn't mean that we don't offer some digital zoom, but we're trying to minimize how much digital zoom you have to use, and that's how we achieve that. So I think if you did a side-by-side with similar products from other manufacturers, you're going to find superior imagery every time. And this also includes companies that make these type of camera systems with multiple lenses and chips. So if you think about that, you're still having to do some pan tilt by electronic means, but you're also spending money on 3 chips and 3 pieces of glass. So we definitely think the better approach here is taking advantage of this chip and the glass and giving you the best of both and having it follow the presenter. So you can do this where you tell it it will automatically find somebody if just one person is talking. And if it's a back and forth conversation, the camera will track from one person to the other and back and forth and so on within a reasonable speed, which was important so that it's not a headache to watch. As you'll see, some competitive products can be overwhelming with their attempts at auto tracking algorithms. But if you now have 2 people who are speaking pretty regularly between each other, what the camera is going to do is frame them both. And that way you don't have this constant back and forth going on between the 2 of them. So you can pick that. You can also pick multiple participants, and you can also turn off the auto tracking and say, I want to set the location of the camera. So you can pick a couple of those and program those. Okay, I'll really encourage you to get one of these just to test drive. We'll talk more about that near the end. So let's take a look at switchers. We'll start out with our production switch, our 6-in, 1-out. Now this is 4 3G SDI inputs with 2 HDMI inputs. So this is really good if you're trying to switch between graphics or videos versus camera. And the outputs are both 3G SDI and HDMI on the program. And you also have multi-view out. And this is where you have one monitor connected to the multi-view out. And what you'll see on that screen is your program bus, your live bus, your preview bus, that you have queued up, and then all 6 sources. So you can see all those in one shot coming out of either the 3G SDI or HDMI outputs, or you can have 3G SDI going to one confidence monitor and HDMI going to another confidence monitor. So they're mirrored, so you can go to either. And that's also true with the program bus. I have a 3G SDI program out and an HDMI program out. So I can run those to 2 different points as well, mirrored. Okay, and you have some audio mixing here, so you can use audio sources from any of the inputs with audio, or I can take stereo audio in from a mixer, let's say an audio mixer, and blend that into the video content. All right, the BS6000, This is just a big brother of the 601. You've got the same number of I/O, but now you've got the inputs 5 and 6 were on the 601. That was just HDMI. Now it can be DVI or VGA. So we call those flex inputs, those last two. Now you've also got XLR connectivity on the back. So you got balanced and unbalanced audio capability, and you've got faders here to mix on the fly right on the console. Now you've got a few other things that makes this a really cool product. Is I've got camera control built in. Now this is basic camera control for 2 cameras, but if that's all you need, then you don't need a separate camera controller. So this is a 4-in-1 product. It's a broadcast production switcher, camera controller. It also has a media player built in, and it has a media recorder built in. So now you have the capabilities of 4 different products on one device. So you don't have to have 4 separate pieces of gear. Also important is Luma and chroma keying. So that allows me to have lower thirds or overlays of graphics over my video. So definitely take a further look into that product. Okay, so now we get into a couple of presentation products. PSA20S, this is 4K 60 seamless, 8 inputs, 2 separate output buses. Both of these output buses have their own scaler, so I can set their output resolutions independently from one another. The first input is HDMI to HD-Base-T transmitter, and that comes included in the price of the product. The next 4 inputs are HDMI. The next input is VGA, and then I have DisplayPort, and I have USB-C. So you have plenty of different connection capabilities here. And you do have stereo balanced analog audio insertion on the first 4 inputs, as well as unbalanced stereo analog insert on the VGA connection. Okay, on the outputs, the first bus is an HDMI out. The second bus is mirrored HDMI and HD-Base-T output. And the HD-Base-T receiver comes with the product. It's included in the price. And those are 5-play extenders. You also have audio de-embedding on both buses, either stereo balanced analog or SPDIF, and you do have mixing capabilities. The product also does send CEC commands, but if I need, I can enter RS-232 or LAN control for my displays that will activate the display, turn the display off or on at power up or power down of the PSA20S. Right, so very powerful product. This is great, obviously, for conference rooms, presentation, hotel AV, staging rental, so many applications for this product. All right, then we look at its little brother, the PS610. This is 4K 60 seamless switching with 4 HDMI inputs. We have 2 USB-C outputs. The HD-Base-T receiver has a local HDMI input that can be auto switching. So sensing an input on the receiver, it will automatically switch over to it, or you can disable that. We also have audio insertion, but we've got Dante 2-channel audio input output. So that is great for being able to take a presentation room to maybe a Dante audio amplifier, or maybe bring a codec in or out of the presentation switch. So it adds a significant amount of flexibility to have the Dante 2-channel input and output capability. A couple of things that we think are worthy of noting is that when you're in presentation, collaboration, production spaces, sometimes you need some tools. These are just a couple of examples, but we have plenty of different types of HD-Base-T and fiber extenders, as well as audio embedders and extractors. So if your application needs anything like that, just reach out to us so that we can discuss that with you. Okay, we're going to wrap up here with control and audio. For control, we've had this product for a while. This is the Icon 10W. This is the 10-button keypad that is very easily programmable. The programming environment lives in the product as a web page. So when you access this touch keypad through a browser, the programming environment will pop up and you can program all of these buttons. And each of the buttons can have up to 6 commands. So you could program this to turn the lights on and turn the TV on and set the switcher and turn your audio on and so on. So that's a pretty cool feature. Now we launched last year, and this is quickly becoming a hugely popular hit, is our Icon Suite. Some of the reasons why that is our touch pads. You see our touch panels here and our keypad, those are actually also controllers. So in some cases, that's all you need because all the control automation is built into the touch panel. So you can just get this 10-inch tabletop. We also have it in a wall mount. We've got the 4-inch wall mount. We also have a 10-button wall mount keypad with rotary push button dial. Those again are all controllers. But if those devices don't have enough I/O connectivity, you can expand them with either our E4 or our C8. And we'll have details of those in upcoming webinars. But I want to make sure you're aware that it's really an a la carte system where you can buy one piece or you can buy two of all different mixes and matches of parts. I could just buy the rack mount controller and not even buy a touch panel. I could have an iPad or an Android tablet or a Windows tablet and be able to access the user interface out of the controller. One of the other major advantages of the Icon Suite is that we have truly the easiest programming language on the market. I'm intimately familiar with having been a Crestron programmer and AMX programmer. We obviously know Extron and QSYS and a lot of other names, but our programming language is called Easy, and it's actually just English language. And in a lot of cases, you can write code with clicks of your mouse. You don't even have to type anything. So we have a very intuitive programming language, which means two things. It doesn't take very long at all to get up to speed on how to program this. So that's saving time and money. And two, when you do program it, it doesn't take very long to do that, saving time and money. So it's really, if you think about it, it's a significant advantage to have a programming language that is so easy that you don't really need to understand any of these deeper level languages. Having said that, there are people who prefer to use those languages, so we do offer an option to use Java, which is one of the top 5 programming languages in the world. So you would not have any difficulty finding a programmer who can do that or learning it yourself. And we also have tools in our development environment that teach you Java as you go. So it's really very clever. I know I work for PureLink, but I strongly recommend this. I've used many other languages. I've spent countless weeks, months learning them and the same amount of time programming them, and that's all gone when you work with Icon. You'll believe it when you see it. So please reach out to us, get some gear to test out, contact me directly or our sales team. I think your eyebrows will be raised like, wow, this is really going to help me get things done quickly and cost effectively. All right, so I hope I sold that well for you guys. All right, last up is our wireless audio system. So we offer a few pretty cool things here, but this product line came around about 4 years ago for us because we offer a lot of product for collaboration and huddle and conferencing and production and so on. So this tied into some packaging solutions where if you got these cameras and all this, then all you needed was the audio product. So same quality as a lot of the big name brands out there. They're great brands. We just have found a way to do it without the markup of the brand. So definitely check on the pricing on these things. I think you're going to be like very pleased and surprised. So these are pro systems, true diversity. You can get these in 1 or 2 channel receivers, as you see here. You can do belt pack with headset, lavalier, handheld microphone, charging bases. But what's cool here, in my opinion, is we have this wireless podium mic. So that's really cool in scenarios where hardwiring might be an issue or you're doing hotel AV, things like that. You can just set up a podium mic wirelessly, go from breakout room to breakout room and so on. So please take a look at that. You'll notice we also have a paddle antenna system for larger device count distribution systems. Okay, so I mentioned test drive. I can't stress enough for you to take advantage of this. We stock all of our products. We want you to believe in them, so we know that if you try them out, you'll have the confidence. So we want you to try them out in our test drive program, which is basically you request the equipment for 30 days and you do what you want as long as you don't harm them or scratch them up. And if you decide it's not for you, just send it back. If you want to keep it, trust me, we'll send you a bill. But it's a really great program to let you see for yourself that these products really meet expectations. So take advantage of that. We also have a number of outlets for our information. I would say the very best one is LinkedIn. Email, probably even better. If you go to our website, you can register for our weekly newsletters to find out the latest news about our classes, our products, our services. So please check those out. And of course, we have Facebook, Instagram, X, and our YouTube channel where we have lots of product videos. Okay, so that's it. I'll stay on for a little bit for questions. If you guys have any, otherwise, that concludes our time together. Thanks for listening. And if you think of questions later that you didn't think of now, just contact us and we'll be happy to get back to you. And I'll see you guys at the next webinar and have a great day.